Hello and welcome here to Tokyo CB and welcome back to the second video of the day. We've done the review of the Real Betis game, Barcelona winning by 6-2, and right now I'm going to be bringing you some updates on our goalkeeping situation, because after the game it was confirmed by Roberto Fernandes, who is the sporting director in charge of all the transfers, knows exactly what's going on. He confirmed that Barcelona had indeed reached an agreement with Manchester City over the transfer of Claudio Bravo. Now today will be Claudio Bravo's last game. He has played his last match as Barcelona goalkeeper and he will indeed be heading to Manchester City. The only thing right now is what is holding up the deal, that fee has been agreed, personal terms I believe have been agreed, and the only thing that's holding up right now is the injury to Ter Stegen, because Barcelona are very uncomfortable with the fact that Ter Stegen is now injured. Claudio Bravo is going to be leaving. Masip is the only available goalkeeper once Bravo goes. So what Barcelona want to do is accelerate the signing of a second keeper, because that's what they're trying to do at the moment. They're trying to bring in another goalkeeper, somebody who's going to play second fiddle to Ter Stegen this season. It's widely expected, and that goalkeeper is going to be Jasper Cillessen from Ajax. That's who we're going to bring in place of Claudio Bravo. He is going to be our number 2, and of course Ter Stegen will be promoted, if you like, to that number 1 position. Now, the first thing I would say is we have to give and appreciate and really give a fantastic farewell to Claudio Bravo, who's been an absolutely terrific player for us over the 2 seasons that he spent here. He's also played a few games of this season. He's won the Spanish Super Cup. He played today in the Super Cup. He was outstanding. And certainly over the 2 years, he's given us a lot. He's been dependable. He's been very confident. He's given us confidence having him in the goal. He's commanded his area. He's been good with his feet. He's improved his game. He's improved us. And he's given Ter Stegen the motivation and the enthusiasm really to improve as a goalkeeper and really step into that number 1 role. Ter Stegen now will be a better player than he arrived due to Claudio Bravo really aspiring him to improve, and he had to be at a very good level to displace Claudio Bravo. Now I think Bravo has been a fantastic player. He is a fantastic player. Pep Guardiola only goes after the best, and Claudio Bravo is certainly in that category. We will miss him a lot here, and I really hope that Ter Stegen now can step into that number 1 role and express himself and show us the real keeper that we know he can be and really step up. So what we got to look at now is bringing in a number 2, if you like, somebody who will probably not play as many goals as our previous number 2s have. The likes of Ter Stegen, when he was technically our number 2, played Champions League and Copa del Rey. I actually think that our number 2 this season will only play Copa del Rey matches. I can see Ter Stegen taking responsibility in the Champions League and in the league as well. He's going to play both of those competitions, whereas our number 2 is going to be restricted to Copa del Rey matches, which is why the search for a number 2 goalkeeper has not been easy. And there's been a few names that have been shifted around. The likes of Diego Alves from Valencia was an option very early on, but Luis Enrique wasn't keen on Diego Alves. What I would say about that is we're not quite talking about the Diego Alves from a few seasons ago. About 2 years ago, Diego Alves, one of the best goalkeepers in La Liga by a long way. I remember him playing some fantastic games against us, against Real Madrid as well, saving that Ronaldo penalty which gifted us the La Liga title. And of course, I think he played last season against us when Valencia won at the Camp Nou, and he had an outstanding game. But that was when he was coming back from a very long-term injury. He spent several months on the sidelines, and that was probably his only good game at the end of last season. Valencia had a very tough season, and Diego Alves wasn't quite up to scratch. A few mistakes, a few poor decisions on his part, and he'd actually fallen down the pecking order at Valencia, and he may not start this season as their number 1 goalkeeper. So I can see why possibly Luis Enrique was a bit sceptical. He is a fantastic goalkeeper on his day, but he's also not fantastically well with his feet. He's not quite in the Barcelona mould. He's more of a shot stopper than somebody who's willing to play at the back and is good with their feet. So we have gone in another direction with Jasper Cillessen. It's widely expected that we will announce the signing of Cillessen in the next few days. The transfer fee will be around 14 million euros, and he will join from Ajax on a long-term contract. Now, Barca being Barca and Barca fans being Barca fans, of course, we want to know everything there is to know about Cillessen. So I've been doing some research. I haven't watched a lot of Eredivisie over the last few years, but certainly I can see from a lot of things that I've seen, I've read, I've watched, that Cillessen is a goalkeeper who can help us out. Now, what I want to say about this specifically is because I've seen a lot of people already very sceptical about his transfer, very annoyed that we're pursuing him, and certainly annoyed about the fee as well. Now, 14 million euros in the recent market, in the current market, is not break your bank money. money. It's not an awful lot of money. It's quite a lot of money to be spending on a goalkeeper, but exactly the same thing was said when we signed Claudio Bravo from Real Sociedad. We signed Bravo for 12 million 2 summers ago from Real Sociedad, and the 12 million euros that we paid for him then was criticised so heavily by a number of fans. And a few years later on, we are certainly willing and certainly glad that we paid that money, because we're going to be receiving between 20 and 25 million euros from Manchester City. Even though he's now older than when we signed him, we're going to be receiving a big profit on what we paid for Claudio Bravo. So it's only necessary that we reinvest that money in our goalkeeper, and Cillessen appears to be the man that we've chosen. Now, for Ajax, he's played over 100 league games. He's played 30 times for the Netherlands national team. He's very much a regular in the national team. He was part of Louis van Gaal's Netherlands side that won third place at the World Cup in Brazil. And he was certainly very good in that tournament as well. He comes equipped with Champions League experience, having played against us a few times over the past 2 years when we've been in the group stage with Ajax. So he certainly comes packed with a lot of experience. He's 27 years old, which could be said in a few years' time, possibly could be at the peak of his goalkeeping career. But of course, a lot of people again are jumping on that as sort of a negative, the fact that he's 27 years old, when it doesn't really work like that in terms of goalkeepers. 27 for a goalkeeper is not old at all. He could play till he's 35, 36. We've still got at least, say, 8 years in him at least. And what we want to be looking at, guys, is not somebody who's going to come in and be world class, because we all know that we want to put our faith firmly and heavily in Ter Stegen. Cillessen will simply be coming in to be the number 2, and unless it's absolutely required, he will not be playing any, say, Champions League games or any league games, we think. Now, like I said, with that in mind, it's very difficult to attract somebody who's willing to come and effectively sit on the bench, apart from the odd Wednesday or Tuesday when they're playing Copa del Rey matches. So you had to go with somebody who had a bit of quality, but was also very content with coming in and being satisfied with a place on the bench at Barcelona. You want to be playing football, and certainly the goalkeeper that's coming in is not going to be playing an awful lot of football throughout the year. But it seems like Cillessen has accepted this role. Of course, he plays outstandingly. If he really pushes Ter Stegen, he could possibly, in years to come, force his way into the first team lineup. But right now, it seems like we're going to put all our faith and all of our, effort into Ter Stegen, making him the best goalkeeper that he possibly can be, and really investing our trust and our faith in his progress as a keeper. Because of course, Ter Stegen is still a youngster for a keeper. He's really got a lot of years left in him. So it seems like we're going to put everything into him, and Cillessen will simply be coming in to play a few games a season, providing that there are no injuries. The one thing to note as well is the fact that he's coming in from Ajax, and a lot of people say, well, the Eredivisie is not a very good league. It's not really about that. He's coming in from Ajax, where the school of possession-based football and the school of playing it out the back and playing the right way is very much at front there. It's very much a place where you're going to learn the game in the right way, you're going to learn to play the game the right way, and Cillessen is certainly coming out of that Ajax mold, which is a very big positive. Any players coming from Ajax are good technically, they're good on the ball, and they understand exactly what they're supposed to be doing, and he shouldn't take long to fit into the style of Barcelona. So that's a very big positive. The fact that he can come in and seamlessly adapt to our style of play, our philosophy, he'll understand that, and that's very good. And like I say, he was at the forefront of that team, the Netherlands, that went right to the World Cup semi-finals and lost, but won the third place playoff. So they finished third at that World Cup. They played very well. And a lot of people are making something as well of the fact that until a few months ago, he hadn't saved a penalty in his professional career. Louis van Gaal, of course, famously took him off in one of those World Cup games, replaced him with Tim Krul, and Holland went on to win the penalty shootout. Now, Cillessen since then has saved a penalty kick against Wales just a few months ago. So that penalty thing isn't a great concern. You could say that possibly he hasn't faced a lot of penalties, possibly he's been unlucky. Diego Alves, in comparison, is one of a penalty master. But then, how often do you face penalties in your career? How often are those penalty kicks? What's more important, the fact that he can play at the back, the fact that he's good with his feet, or the fact that he's not brilliant at penalty stopping? You're going to be playing more with the feet and more with the ball than you are with penalty kicks. So in terms of the most important things, he's got Champions League experience, he's experienced Europe, he understands that, he's played for a very big club in his own country, which is what he'll be doing at Barcelona. And you have to understand as well, at Barcelona, you're not required to do an awful lot in the majority of games. Claudio Bravo and Ter Stegen are not always on their toes, they're not always being tested right to the max, because a lot of teams don't have that many shots against us. But what you've got to be able to do is join in with the play, you've got to anticipate the ball coming over the back, you've got to understand where your position has got to be on the pitch. And I think Cillessen, coming from Ajax, coming from that sort of environment, will understand exactly what he's got to be doing and should be able to adapt to that. So That's a positive, and there are other positives as well. And of course, 14 million euros is not cheap. You know, it's not exactly brilliant bargain for money. But what I would say is give him a chance. Just give him a chance. No point in getting on his case before he's even got here. No point in being negative about the signing. You just got to get behind the player, trust the management. They've made some very, very good signings over the summer. Hopefully, this can be another one. We're bringing in somebody who's supposedly going to be our number 2 keeper. So let's just get behind them. Let's see what they can do. Let him have a chance to prove himself, and let's see what he can produce. A lot of Ajax fans are disappointed to be losing him. They feel that he's one of their best players, if not the best player for them. He was excellent last season. He played in all but one of their Eredivisie matches, and they conceded just 21 goals in 33 games. So it was a very, very good season for him. 34 games, sorry. He played 33 games. They conceded just 21 goals in 34 games. So he had a good season at Ajax last season. They finished in second place to PSV in that division. So he's coming in on the back of a good campaign. He's 27 years old. He's got a lot of years left in him. He can play at the back. He's good with his feet. He's got European experience, and he's willing to come in and accept the role of playing not many matches, and we're going to see what he can do. What I would say as well, guys, is like I said before, a lot of people were sceptical when we bought Claudio Bravo from Real Sociedad for 12 million. A lot of people didn't really agree with that transfer, and it turned out to be a great success. A lot of people as well were having a go at us paying quite a bit of money for Lucas Digne this summer, and that's worked out very, very well so far as well. He looks very, very promising indeed. So what I would say is, guys, get behind the signing, support the signing, understand that we're trying to do the best thing here. Even if there were possibly better options out there, we don't know whether they'd be willing to accept the squad role that has been offered to them. So leave your thoughts below on Jasper Cillessen. Try and make them positive. We're going to see what he can do, and then we're going to judge him based on that in Barça colours. So let me know your thoughts down below, guys. I will see you very, very soon. But until next time, as always, Visca el Barça.